Hello, and welcome to today's first ever Digimass Zoom production. I'm Andrew Forbes, and during today's event we'll be providing some narrative input to help define the background to how digital and downloadable apps have the potential to become game changers for many of us. But before we look forward, we felt the need to look back a little. So I'm taking time out from looking back at how I once knocked Doctor Who out and then sent Sally down for 4 years on Corrie to present you with a few elements that have impacted the story of debt and digital so far. Now at this stage, it's often very tempting to slip in a little PowerPoint or two, or three, laden with facts and figures that you probably either already know or, worse still, have become immune to. You get the idea? You get the idea. So, we're not going to be doing that. Well, not too much, anyway. We all know levels of consumer debt have never been higher. We talk in billions when it comes to values and tens of millions when it comes to people and the millions and millions of financial casualties along the way. We can visualize the growth with words and images like ballooned, mushroomed, exponential. And we could describe the human impact and pain with words like depression, vulnerability, stress, and breadline. How many times over how many years have we seen this kind of data? The Digimass team say they have numbers from 10 or even 20 years ago that tell virtually the same never-ending story. So let's keep the messages simple, shall we? There's a shed-load of over-indebtedness and a shed-load of economic, social and psychological consequences, and the pandemic has accentuated these and helped create a debt-demic with younger and younger victims and a much wider demographic. And the one steadfast constant over the last 3, if not 4 decades, has been the massive imbalance between the need for consumer support and the advice actually available when it comes to managing our financial lives. And notice I'm saying need, not demand. They're not necessarily the same thing. Money can make the world go around, but a lack of it can bring a person's world crashing down. Now, Digimass, as their name implies, are huge fans of the potential benefits of digital conduits. So let's take a look at where we think we are when it comes to digital in managing our finances. At a macro level, well, like it or not, the cashless society is already here, isn't it? Direct debits, backs, chaps, standing orders, all well established. In financial terms, nearly 95% of all consumer financial transactions in the UK are now done electronically, and more than 90% of us use debit cards rather than cash. And let's face it, COVID has forced us to resist using cash even more. We know from recent announcements that roughly 2 million consumers are now taking advantage of what an app can deliver, but most are still just doing so to make payments and purchases rather than receive support and guidance in managing their money. Banks have long promoted online banking, with some now promoting their own apps with TV campaigns and so on, and debt managers and advisors are now starting to benefit from web portals and automated and semi-automated I&E processes. Now, the most recent of these developments are taking advantage of the UK pioneering digital platform that went live in 2018. But, like he who must not be named from Harry Potter, we're trying not to name that platform because of all the negative connotations that prevail in our sector. So, before I go on, yes, thank you, you're welcome. As I was saying, before I go on, I think it'd be timely now for me to hand over to Money Advice Scotland, who Digimass have worked with before and who will now give some feedback on their own digital experiences.